Welcome in, everybody. We are live. We are here with another edition of Major Push Wrestling, the talk show where we give wrestling the major push that it deserves. I'm your host, Papa Gino, the handsome devil himself, and I am joined today by Evan and Dave. We're sorry we're a little late. Had some power outage issues, as you can see. In Knock at the Cabin territory right now, but the show must go on and go on it shall. So I'm going to introduce our panelists, and we're going to get right into the major topic of the week. So we have writer, director, producer, author, editor Evan Ginsberg. How you doing, Evan?
Good, good. I'm happy to be back, and just be careful in those cabins, because whenever I see a movie with cabins, there's usually demons or mutants or deadly hillbillies outside. You better watch out.
Yeah, so just make sure you guys let me know if something appears behind me, an apparition or a shadow or something. I'm on the second floor, so you see any shadows, it's bad news for me.
Yeah.
But we'll look forward to discussing this with you, Evan. I know this is a topic that you've been really itching to discuss, so I'm happy to be able to give you another platform to do that other than where you've already discussed it. And Dave is here. Dave, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Gino. About cabins, quick little story. Me and my friends took my son when he was 14 up to a cabin in North Carolina. When we were driving up towards the cabins, it looked like when it got dark, it got real scary. So I talked about Friday the 13th on the way there up to the cabin in the mountains, and and then when he found out the cabin had a window, he was going to sleep downstairs, but there was a window open. Then he ran upstairs and hid under the bed.
Oh. Well, that's what those movies do. A good horror movie comes home with you from the theaters, right? It doesn't just stay there.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get into our major topic of the week. We usually do a few topics, but this one, whether it takes a while or whether it doesn't, I wanted to give it the full just desserts, I believe. I want to say just deserves, but I think it's just desserts. Whatever it is, we're going to get right into it. So we originally scheduled this to be exactly halfway through the year, and things have happened, pushback, scheduling, what have you. Wrestling actually had stuff to talk about other than this topic, so we had to push it back to today. But here we are, guys, halfway through the year, and to nobody's surprise, 6 months in, we've got some great matches so far of the year to discuss. So when I first thought of this topic, my mind goes to a few different matches. I don't want to take one of yours, so I will go last. But first off, shout out to everybody watching, whether it's live or on demand. Oofman's here in the chat. We are live on Gino Streams, the Papa Gino Network, or however you want to call it. We're also live on NoDQ.com's CEO, editor-in-chief, Aaron Riff's personal YouTube channel. Shout out to Aaron for bringing us all together. Shout out to Oofman for allowing us to do this live. We've got Dylan in the chat. Let's go, LFG. That's what we're talking about. Shout out to him. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you're watching. It means the world. And we're going to get right into it. So I want to know from our panelists and you watching along, whether it's live or on demand, what has been the best match of the year? For me, I've got two in mind. Let's see if they are addressed by you guys. But I'm going to throw it right over to Evan. Evan, you've got this wealth of wrestling knowledge. You worked in the industry. You're doing movies, a wrestler. You got your books. You've got your wonderful videos where you're debating about Vince McMahon, all of these things. So you bring a wealth of knowledge, and this was something that you really wanted to discuss. So tell me, Dave or Evan, what is your match of the year so far?
Without any doubt, it was Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland on the most recent AEW pay-per-view. I'm watching wrestling since 1972. I'm attending since 1974. And that match was just magnificent. And it had absolutely everything. It had great wrestling. For those who do they're just spot monkeys. You couldn't be more wrong. Okay, these guys, every hold in the book, every aerial maneuver in the book, brawling, juice. I mean, this had everything. And I'm jaded, and I've seen wrestling live, thousands upon thousands of matches around the world. And this stands up with some of the greatest matches I've ever seen. And let me put it to you this way: whether it's a movie, whether it's a concert, if you're sitting there and you go, there's nothing I'd rather be watching than this, you're in the right place. When you watch a great movie or a great concert and you actually get like chills going down your spine because it's so great. I'm gonna say right now, Will Ospreay's best in the world. Best in the world. Nobody touches this guy, but Swerve's right there, move for move, hanging with this guy, and I can't rave about it enough. And I'm jaded. Believe me, I'm jaded. But that was just tremendous. And before you get the guys doing, oh, he's an AEW mark, the second best match of the year was CM Punk and Roman Reigns for the WWF at WrestleMania. So I call it down the middle. But man, Ospreay and Swerve, that's wrestling elevated to art. That's Dory Funk and Jack Briscoe. That's Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair. That's Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express. That's Tito Santana, Greg Valentine. That's art. And I don't always say that, believe me. But that's my pick. I don't want to beat it to death.
Hey, no, absolutely not. And like that's the thing, right? Like whether we have a preference on which company we want to watch, whether it's the major companies or the minor companies, great wrestling, great storytelling, great art. It is what it is. And the best thing about wrestling, as with movies and all that stuff, is because it's art, it's all subjective. So what might work for you might not work for somebody else, and vice versa. So the Osprey versus Strickland match, that was for the finals of the Owen Hart tournament, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Was there a favorite spot that you have during the match or that sticks out to you?
No, they went move for move, hold for hold. There wasn't one particular spot. But let me just add this. Before the match started, you go, well, Osprey's got to win because they're going to headline. They're going to headline at Wembley over the summer. And then you go, oh, I've seen this match before. So it wasn't the match I was most anticipating this year, but it was so great, you get lost in it where you say, I'm not 100% sure who's going to win this. That's how caught up you get in it. It's almost like suspension of disbelief. So, yeah, it was just tremendous. And the juice adds to it. It just makes it more dramatic for those people who go, oh, AEW, it's too bloody. It's not for kids. It just makes it that much more powerful.
And I'm glad you brought that up because like matches, this isn't a match of the year contender by any means, but Lyra and Bailey, they got color
great
the
match.
hard way. And that adds to the match, right? You think back to things like Becky or Stone Cold versus Bret Hart. I know Uthman's a big Bret Hart guy. Like that color really added to it. Basically, any Ric Flair match with the Crimson Mask. But yeah, sometimes whatever, it's not for kids, but the storytelling. And you mentioned, when you don't know who's going to win, even though all signs were pointing to Ospreay headlining All In London. That seems to be where they were going. I didn't think it was going to be Kenny. I thought maybe it was going to be MJF, but yeah, that match and they didn't need to use syringes and things like that. Just traditional wrestling weapons, will get the job done. And the spots that they were doing, like you're mentioning Ospreay being like, dude's broken his neck more times than I can even count. And he's still going out there, dropping himself on his neck, showing that he doesn't care. He's got no fear. He's flying through the air, doing all those athletic spots. And yeah, I mean, Swerve has really made himself like he just continues to prove that he's one of the best that definitely AEW has, but one of the best out there right now. Obviously, Osprey, he could wrestle a broomstick, as they say, but Swerve really, when you have a good dance partner, it really does elevate everything.
Let me
And
let me
so,
let me just throw this in. Um, Osprey is going to go out there every single night and give 110%. Okay, he's never going to coast. And too many of the wrestlers today, they're in same 5 moves, same 3 moves mode. They're just kind of going through the motions. Osprey, Swerve, guys like that. You mentioned Lyra and Bailey. That was a tremendous match. I think that was the best women's match of the year. That was great. But I don't think that match touched Osprey and Swerve. But that was an excellent match. And
right.
yeah, so you know, here's where I'm going to get your viewers pissed off. So Nakamura, for example, is like a knife in my heart. He's one of the top guys in the world in New Japan. Easy, top 5 in the world, if not higher. Could be number 1 in the world at that time. Comes into WWE. He's squandered. He becomes just another warm body on a card. And the spin is, well, he's making great money. He's surfing. He's happy. Create art. Every time you go out there, Okada's a shell of what he was in AEW. Create art. And Osprey, 100 years from now, after we're all gone, people will watch Will Osprey matches because that's what he's done. And 90% of the guys out there, you don't need to rewatch what they've done because it wasn't that great the first time. Seriously.
And I'm glad you brought that up too, because one of the things that I've seen with an issue with WWE in particular is like the cost that you have to pay for the subscription to watch the premium live events. AEW does the pay-per-view model still, but like there's a lot of these things that like you said, you're not really wanting to go back and watch, and sometimes if you don't catch it live, there's almost really a diminished interest to even go back and check it out from start to finish. Some people might find the highlights on YouTube or whatever their preference is. And shout out to Dylan in the chat. He likes that point of view, creating art. That's how you wrestle. You're creating something, right? We've got WWE Unreal coming out. Say what you want about the show, but it shows that there's effort being put into the thought about how they're going to go about this, what moves they're going to do, what finish they're going to do, and how they interact with the crowd and the two wrestlers, the two dance partners.
The other side of Unreal is when Triple H is talking to Jey Uso, and it's all about the merch sales and the fan reaction and the entrance, and it's not about being the best wrestler and putting on the best match. That's where the corporate side of it, you see it clear as day. And that's a mistake. I come from an era where the best wrestler in the world was the champion. A Jack Briscoe, a Harley Race, a Nick Bockwinkel, a Dory Funk, a Terry Funk, a Ric Flair. The best wrestler was the champion, not the guy who has the best entrance or the best sing-along. This is corporate wrestling. So Unreal, you're seeing all sides of it. And some of it, it's not good, at least from my old school fan, point of view,
And again, with WWE Unreal, again, it just released on Tuesday, the new season. And like, it's funny when you see things like Michael Hayes continuing to put his foot in his mouth and to show his keister with his decision making. And this is obviously part of the TV show. Like, they don't have to be putting this stuff in. Like, they're obviously playing for the cameras and things like that as well. I have a problem with it existing just because I feel like WWE will let that affect their creative, not the other way around, like that's the spirit of the show should be. It's like, oh, this would be a good thing to film for WWE Unreal, and it's like, okay, you can see like when some of the Cena stuff from the last year that we're getting that the show's addressing, and what you this they're probably going to make this a storyline on Unreal, and sure enough, they do. So having the creative be the true heart and soul behind everything, and let everything else come from that, or booking, however the terminology we want to use, it just it changes the way you look at it, like you say with the Cobra Vultures. So
You know what I want to see? You know what I want to see on Unreal? I want to see when they future endeavor, dozens of loyal wrestlers and staff, and they go, hey, we need Stephanie to get a raise for her talk show or whatnot. Let's see that side of corporate wrestling. Let's see the decision making with that. Oh, so and so's dying. He has a GoFundMe. Should we help on that? Let's see that side of WWE. It's you see Triple H as the benevolent father figure. I think he's playing a role to a degree, because that's what we're seeing. We don't see these guys deciding which of these hardworking, sometimes couples who relocated to get an opportunity are being laid off during record-breaking, incredible billion-dollar years. That we're not seeing that on Unreal.
No, and I completely agree. So to bring it back, so match of the year for you, Ospreay versus Strickland for the Owen Hart finals. Thank you so much, Evan. Now we're going to throw it over to Dave. As Dylan is saying, let's get Dave talking here. Dave, thank you so much for being patient. Dave, so, we've watched a lot of premium live events together. We've been to Backlash together. So I'm interested to see your thoughts here. What is your match of the year so far?
Evan, and you had some great points. I have, and I'm no AEW mark either by far, but I have three, but I'll give you two of them, and I'll give you my favorite. One of them is definitely Ospreay and Swerve. Swerve is underrated. WWE didn't. It was the other way around here. WWE didn't know how to use Swerve. AEW's used him very well because he's very talented. He could tell a story in the ring. And like Evan said, with Ospreay, you got two guys. You need two dance partners, and I think they're both work well together. My second one, and you mentioned it, Gino, is if it wasn't for the CM Punk and Reigns match at WrestleMania night 2, I think night 2 saved WrestleMania because night 1 was so horrible. The only fun part about it, and we talked about it, is me and you got to watch together with friends of yours for the first time when we first met. And but my favorite match of the year, and it may be biased because I was there and it's not Backlash, it's at AEW Beach Break. I thoroughly enjoyed MJF and Kenny Omega. I was shocked by the ending, but I thoroughly enjoyed that match no matter how hot it was out there. MJF, as good a heel and talker as he is, he's a damn good wrestler when he goes in the ring. And even Omega, and Evans mentioned this many times, 80% Omega is better than 90% of the wrestlers out there. It was just an awesome match. The crowd was amazing. And again, I've been a WWE lifer for the most part, but that match was just was so much fun to watch. But that's definitely my match of the year. And Evan's right. There's a lot of I know it's fun to watch with Uso if you're in person, and Trick and them. I sure hope when it comes to the end, Trick is known more for his wrestling than whoop that Trick, because he's a good performer. And if he learned from Booker T was a heck of a performer. He's not much of an announcer, but if Trick gets past just whoop that Trick, Don't do the gingerbread man. I don't like the fur belt. I know maybe some people may like it. I want him to just wrestle and just tell a story in the ring because he could be one of the top ones by the end.
Mhm.
And Osprey, definitely. Osprey, I never had seen a match of his until AEW. I am so amazed about what he can do in the ring and how he can go. I may not like the part with the Death Riders right now, but it doesn't matter. The guy is an amazing talent. And if ever that AEW can hook onto people to get them to watch more, you got to put this guy's got to be up there in the main event scene along with MJF and them. They're building their younger people. He's not the youngest, but he's not the oldest. And as long as he stays healthy, he's got still more in the tank. And it's just I was just really again amazed by that. As well as CM Punk and Roman Reigns did, I had to put that match above it for me.
Yes, thank you so much, Dave. So I'm glad I was able to let you guys go first because you did touch on matches that obviously, it's all subjective, but obviously I expect these matches to be in the match of the year contention when it comes down to the end of the year. And so I'm going to mention a match that we haven't brought up here right now. And for me, it was one that I was expecting to be at WrestleMania this year. If you check back to Major Push Wrestling, when I did my way too early WrestleMania match card prediction of what I think would have been the best card, this match was one of the first matches that came to my mind. And that is the OG Grande Americano versus New Grande Americano, mask versus mask. Now, part of this acquisition of AAA, you could say what you want about how they're building that up and they're almost taking away from the WWE guys that are on WWE television and they're letting them do their best stuff over there. But this mask versus mask match, which was not without its controversy because going into this, we had the whole Ludwig Kaiser arrest. Somebody insulted him or his girl that he was with in the elevator, and they got into a physical altercation. He said some potentially racist things to him, and he was defending his lady, as any true man should defend their lady, especially when some punk is just, throwing out unpleasant words to them for sure. But they even had her come out during the match and got her involved. But the storytelling from start to finish, like the build up, the fact that Kaiser was kind of just a placeholder for this character, and then Chad came back, and then Kaiser did so well in the meantime that they had no choice but to let him run with it. And then eventually it was all roads were leading back to a Chad Gable coming back as himself. But like the way they told this story, a long thought out match. And again, the story leading into it is a story leading into it, but the story that they told, the tearing of the mask, all of the spots that they did, the interferences, and some may say that that's overbooked and stuff, but I mean, if you put that match on and don't enjoy that, I genuinely don't know what's going to move the needle for you. Like obviously the other matches you guys have discussed, they're totally I'm not arguing that this is better than those, but for me, match of the year for sure was that. You guys discussed Roman versus Punk. Vinny, shout out to Vinny in the chat. He's a real one. We love Vinny. He says match of the year is Punk and Roman at WrestleMania Night 2, and that saved WrestleMania, as you said, Dave. He says, "What's up, guys? Got finished eating. Hype to talk wrestling. Heck yeah, we appreciate you being here." Now, Dave, did you you had something you wanted to say?
Yes, and Gino, you brought up great points about the mask versus mask. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I still haven't seen the full match. I watched the highlights of it, but I can say one thing about it, and I think you mentioned it on previous reviews on our buddy Aaron No DQ's station is I'm glad they did it at AAA because I think you mentioned it, if it was on WrestleMania, looking back, it may have gotten lost and it may not have been the length it was. I think it was in the right place at the right time with AAA. I think Undertaker has done a phenomenal job also with AAA.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
glad you
it's,
go ahead.
and I just, all I want to say is I think everything aligned in the right spot for that match.
And I'm glad you brought up Undertaker because that was another point I was going to bring up. Like, not only is Undertaker polar opposite from lucha libre style wrestling, but he still is so smart to the business that he can produce a match that gives the live crowd what they want and the crowd at home what they want as well. So we've talked in past on Major Push Wrestling. What's more important to WWE, especially, or to any wrestling promotion? Appeasing the crowd watching at home or appeasing the live fans? And we've seen time and time again, it seems like that can go back and forth, but the perfect synergy of a great match gets the people at home hyped to the point where you're thinking you don't even know who's going to win this one when the predictions or the betting odds or whatever might have been all going one way, and then you have a match that again is produced by a pure great. It almost highlights the production flaws when it comes to producing a match because we know WWE's top notch when it comes to television production. But when you're producing a match, it's almost like, why is Undertaker in AAA and not helping produce matches for WWE at this point? Like, imagine what he could do with friggin' Punk versus Cody. Imagine what he could do with a Gunther versus Aldis, even a lower match, which I don't think Gunther should be lower on the card, but here we are. And Vinny says, I was just going to address it. It's funny that JBL is on commentary, even though in 2004 he had his feud with Mexico. He went to the border and was kicking this family in the butt out of the country, all that stuff. But that just goes to show you that, like, no matter what, like, he's been on Fox News and all these things. He used to work for them. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you might have these preconceived notions of these people based on a few things you've seen or a few things you've heard. But obviously, JBL, yeah, he's getting paid to do it, and yeah, Undertaker's getting paid to do it. But they're clearly passionate about wrestling and now Mexican culture and that lucha libre style, and that's something that 10, 15 years ago, if you had told me Undertaker and JBL are going to be working for the Mexican promotion, I would have been like, miss me with that. Like, you're off your rocker, but that's why, you never totally judge somebody based on maybe what they've said or what they've done. Like, JBL is doing great work. Corey Graves doing great work over there. Obviously, Rey Mysterio. Dominic is doing his best work there, not in WWE, which I think is a huge mistake. He should also be doing his good work in WWE. Not that they have to take away from AAA, but at the end of the day, that's a YouTube show, and you've got network television and Netflix television that you could be strengthening through having these quality legends, Hall of Famers, like, on your main product. And Vinny says Taker really owned Triple H in the ring and now in booking. I actually really like that comment. I do feel though, like, I've been a Triple H defender, and call me crazy. I like to blame anything wrong with this creative stuff that's like stuff that comes down from TKO. Like, people want to get, and I'll say this every chance I get. He took Vince's creative job, yes, but he's not assuming the role Vince had in the company. Vince was the be all end all when it came to decisions. Triple H is not. He could have all this stuff booked, and if The Rock, Ari, TKO, they want to change everything up, he's going to have to listen to them. But yes, currently, as booking is concerned, Taker is beating on Triple H right now. Triple H has had some good stuff. He's got a lot harder of a job than just producing one YouTube show match every so often. But when it comes down to it, like, I mean, I would be hard pressed if this match isn't in match of the year discussion. I would say that at the end of the year, then this is probably the best year in wrestling ever, because if this match doesn't make the top 5, top 6, like, boy, we've had a great year of matches. Yes, Dave.
The other thing that you always like to mention And I think this is the one of those times it goes against the grain. Wins usually make a difference. For Chad Gable, it didn't this time. That loss probably was more made him more than any win could have in that match. Just like when Austin got beat by Bret Hart in the double turn.
And you're absolutely right. Unfortunately, though, in some situations, losing does matter, right? I think Oba probably shouldn't have
Hmm.
lost to
Yeah.
Brock in the last match, just off the top of my head. But yeah, like if you're going to have people looking strong in defeat, like I hate that term. Oh, he kicked out of a bunch of moves. Okay, but he beat the guy in 5 minutes. Now he can't. Now he can't beat him. Like those wins and losses do matter, even though it's all scripted and they don't matter, but they do. And Evan, as a wrestling historian, right, we've seen time and time again that you can look strong in defeat, but it's not just kicking out of a bunch of moves. It's not just doing that. It's about showing that you had a chance to win. I don't even think Oba tried to pin Brock during his second match. And I think that honestly made him look a little weaker. And now they're having to play catch up to do all of this stuff, have him win King of the Ring for no reason, all of these types of things where it's like, well, if you just didn't feed him to Brock, then maybe we wouldn't have to criticize the whole King of the Ring booking. But Evan, Ospreay beats Strickland, but he was still elevated and still elevated himself in that match, looked strong in defeat, but not just because of kicking out and whatever, showing resiliency, but really because it looked like he had a chance to win that, which everybody thought it was going to be Ospreay. So do you feel like Swerve was elevated in his loss, and that's how you do a strong, looking strong in defeat?
Absolutely, because by putting on a truly great and even classic, which I would qualify that as classic match, people 20 years from now aren't even going to care who won or who lost. It's going to be that's a classic. Sergeant Slaughter, Pat Patterson street fight, for example. Snooker jumping off the cage on Morocco. Ric Flair, Terry Funk, I Quit. Nobody's talking about who won or lost. Some of them people don't even remember who won or lost. They just talk about it because it's great and it stands the test of time. The mask versus mask match is a great, great match. Let me just throw this in. Dave's match that he was talking about with MJF, that was a great, great match. This is all subjective. And also Dave was sitting at the show, which makes it that much more exciting. So here's what bothers me. You'll have fans who, they've become part of a billion-dollar corporation like it's their home team. The WWE tribalism, they can't admit an AEW match is good or they won't even watch it. The AEW fans think they're superior to WWE. They won't admit a WWE match is great. Both of these companies put on great matches. Both of these companies also have flaws that you're allowed to address. And every match the three of us discussed are great, great matches. And if you watch any of them and go, oh, that sucks, they're just spot monkeys, then either you don't understand it or you don't want to enjoy it. Because I agree with both you guys. Those were tremendous matches.
And I'm glad you brought that up. We all like movies here, and you brought up movies earlier, right? And you see this huge swell of people, whether they hate the production company behind a movie or they hate the actors, or more importantly, they hate the actresses in these movies. They'll go on and review bomb it. They'll say it's terrible. The Odyssey people are saying, oh, it's, they're using all these hateful words to describe some of the casting and stuff for like stuff that's in 2 minutes of the movie. And they're saying they're review bombing it. They're saying it's the worst movie ever, like without even having watched it. And like, that's some of the things that make me kind of not embarrassed, but like secondhand embarrassment to be a WWE fan is when you see people hating on AEW, just to hate on it. And the same thing with AEW fans that hate on WWE just to hate on it. Now, I want to be clear here. I am in no way saying that if you don't like something that you're wrong. If you don't, if one style of wrestling or one company isn't doing it for you, that's your opinion. That's fine. Like, have your thoughts, but to just not watch AEW and say AEW is trash, that's like that's pretty ridiculous. To not like WWE for who they align themselves with politically or for who's running the company or whatever, and not like watching the product to give it a fair shake. Like that's all. That's also you can dislike it all you want, but it's got to be based in some merit. A merit is a good word for that. Like you got to take it on its merit. That's why I don't watch AAA, but they got me to watch the mask versus mask match. Did I say AAA sucks? No. Do I say Lucha Libre is for the birds? No. It's supposed to have these. You're supposed to have a little bit more logic and give something a chance. Now, I don't have to hit myself in the groin with a hammer to know I don't like that. But this isn't what we're talking about here. We're talking about art. Give it a chance. If it works for you, like you said, it works for you. If it doesn't work for somebody else, that's fine. Again, same with movies. Oh, I don't like how long the movie was. Okay, that's a fair criticism. I don't like the sound mixing or the lighting. Or those are all fair criticisms to have with something. And speaking of criticisms, we have Vinny here. WWE Unreal really shows how tone deaf they are and bad creative has been the last year. Braun and Gunther booking last year has been awful. And I would agree. Objectively speaking, they have both these guys who are who Gunther should be is their top heel. He should be booked as such. And he's wrestling the general manager. Okay, they've built a storyline to that. We'll see how the match goes. I look forward to seeing all this in the ring. But you gotta book these guys strong. And this is where wins and losses do matter. Like Gunther could have had the title. We're coming up on 9 months removed from him retiring, Cena, or 6 months removed, however many, and then AJ, and now like what? He just goes away, isn't winning Royal Rumble, isn't doing these things. And the thing about WWE Unreal is it's also scripted. Like I refuse to believe that what we're seeing is authentic, true, all this stuff. Obviously, people talking about their feelings. Cena's like, it's going to be a hard day at the office. You're going to get your butt kicked and it's going to suck. And like, I feel those moments. Oh, CM Punk said, I'm going to miss you. That was emotional. Like those things I do believe are authentic. But when it comes to what they're choosing to show us from inside these rooms, and they're still putting out stuff that's making us be like, see, this is the problem. So like, not only are they in control of what we're seeing, but they're also showing us what's wrong with the company. And it's like, it's just funny how like you can be in control of everything and still the narrative on you is painted poorly because of what you're showing. Gino's starting to rage. You know what happens? The sleeves are already half rolled up, but that's because the AC hasn't kicked fully back on since we got power. Papa Gino Mark, we love that. The handsome devil always loves that. Oofman. WWE Unreal is not real. It is. It isn't, but I do believe that some of these interviews with the talent are authentic in nature. But again, like this isn't just a 24/7 live stream. Like these are clips and these are things that they are wanting to show us. Like I refuse to believe that they're showing us every single thing that we would maybe want to see or need to see in WWE Unreal. But at the end of the day, I firmly believe that when it comes to WWE Unreal, and I don't want us to be a WWE Unreal topic, but that a lot of the decisions that they're making, like we're definitely going to see the Brock and Oba stuff. I haven't watched all of season 3, so I don't know if they addressed that, but we're definitely going to see that coming into season 4 of Unreal. Like it's almost like you can see the seeds being planted for, oh, well, we can film this discussion for WWE Unreal and all those things. But at the end of the day, we're here to talk about the good. I want Major Push Wrestling to be a more positive leaning show while still being honest. And we're all honest here. So we have Dave has Ospreay versus Strickland. We have, Evan had Ospreay versus Strickland, but Dave
and I had
top 3.
Kenny Omega.
And you had Kenny Omega and MJF. And that's one of those things that No, I certainly didn't think MJF was going to lose that match. And so when Kenny's kicking out of these, what looks like it would have finished anybody else, he kicks out. You could see the crowd just like, oh my God, like that's unexpected. Like here, I thought that we were going home. Nope. And for those watching that don't know, go home also means the finish to the match. Doesn't mean that like we're leaving. And we mentioned the CM Punk Roman Reigns match where we all kind of knew Roman Reigns was going to have that title coming out of it, but there was that plausible deniability. And, I think what's stopping that match from being my match of the year was that shitty, excuse my language, everybody, we get one on Aaron's channel, so that'll be it. That stupid stair spot that should have been a disqualification. And if they're dead set on doing that spot, have the match end and then have all this come out or have Punk grab the microphone and be like, that's not how we're ending this match, and just restart the match. It doesn't have to be an accidental Batista and John Cena go over the rope at the exact same time at the Royal Rumble to restart it. Like they could have worked that in. If that spot was planned, if it wasn't and Roman just did that because Punk's hanging there and I want to hit him with the stairs, well, and that's one of the things that I will complain about. Like there doesn't seem a lot of consistency in this. What is a disqualification in one match is not a disqualification in the other match. What is the passing out one hand down is sometimes it ends there, sometimes it ends after the 1, 2, 3.
Gino, you know what's
yes,
ridiculous? Sir. When they have the heel brings out all his buddies, so you have 2, 3, 4, 5 guys pounding on the face, and that's not a DQ because they go, it's no DQ. If there's no DQ, you can bring out a knife, a gun, or a bazooka. I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, logically.
Don't give
They've done almost all that in AEW.
Yeah.
And we had talked about earlier, like not using syringes. To me, if it's a natural item found under the ring, whether it's for construction of the ring or whether it's tables, chairs, kendo sticks, like things like that. Like I think screwdrivers are okay, toolboxes for sure, the fire extinguishers, like those things, like to me are wrestling items. Yeah, you could say the doctors ringside have syringes and whatever, but like, and suffocating somebody with a bag, but drowning somebody, like there are limits to that where I'm like, okay, what are we talking about? Oofman says Major Push Wrestling greater than WWE Unreal. Shout out to that. Hopefully we're on Netflix one year. And Vinny saying Cody versus Randy was underwhelming. I really wanted to get into that match. Well, the build up and all that stuff, they obviously didn't think that this match could stand on its own, so they had to interject Pat McAfee, which I don't have a problem with. Like everybody wanted it to be DiBiase or Orton's dad and stuff. Like, when you let your speculation become expectation, even with movies like the new Avengers trailer just dropped. I haven't seen it yet because I already know I'm going to see it, so I got to see a trailer for it. Plus, they put stuff in the trailers that doesn't cut of the movie, piss me off. Like
you're breaking up and freezing.
We might be internet here.
I think those cannibal mutant hillbillies have gotten them, Dave.
Yeah, he's behind them. I think they're behind them.
Yeah. If you guys can still hear me, you like Breaker versus Seth match? I thought was good too. Yeah, it's definitely getting choppy on my end, but we're still gonna go around and do our plugs here on Major Push. Dave, where can the people find you?
Well, if I'm not here with you, Gino, and I'm with Evan, I'm on No DQ with our buddy Aaron with predictions with the review. Also, Oofman Entertainment. Shout out to Oofman again. Thank you for giving Gino the forum with StreamYard, and also to Aaron. Me and Oofman have some good talks on Gabbing with Oof. And also I've been seen a couple of times on Simply Reliable Studios with JJ and Noah too. But definitely thank you to Aaron and bring us all together. Meeting Gino, getting to meet Evan. It's been a pleasure and an experience because you're both very smart, very nice, and very interesting people, both of you, and I've enjoyed to have friendships with both of you.
Yes, it's been an absolute pleasure. So I did want to add, Dwayne's here in the chat. He had sent me his matches, and he has El Grande Americano Mask versus Mask as his number one, followed by Punk versus Roman from WrestleMania, and then MJF versus Hangman, the Texas Death Match, which we didn't discuss, and Okada versus Takeshita, and Osprey versus Swerve. So on his top five, and then he maybe wanted to add Osprey versus Samoa Joe from that same tournament as well, which I also thought was a great match. So those are all great choices. And again, it's all subjective, and so nobody's wrong. We're all right in this scenario. So yeah, thank you so much, Dave, Dwayne, and Evan, writer, producer, director, author, editor. I'm gonna get them all written down, and I'm gonna get every title that you have going. But Evan, where can the people find you and the wonderful work that you're doing?
I appreciate it. Evan Ginsberg's Old School Wrestling Memories on Facebook. Check out our new book, Wrestling Rings, Blackboards, and Movie Sets. And my other book, Grindhouse, Art House, and Wrestling Flicks, a deep dive into film, but also pro wrestlers in film and wrestling films. And you can find me at Wrestling and Everything Coast to Coast podcast. And we're doing a lot of work with Black Cody, wrestling with the 80s as well. And yeah, it's great. It's great meeting you guys and working with you guys. And Dave Scheffler and I had lunch together in Orlando. And I'm happy that it brings people together, these programs and these platforms. Let me just throw in one final thing that nobody addressed. As an old school fan, I find it rather annoying when other old school fans do there's been no good wrestling since the territories. Come on. Every match you guys mentioned and that the viewers mentioned today, these were all great wrestling matches, worth watching, whether it's WWE or AEW or AAA, which is a spinoff now of WWE or whatnot. I mean, you can't say there's been no good wrestling in 40 years. It's absurd, really.
Evan, before we sign off, I do want to address that, because that to me, as the youngest guy on this panel, I think I'm the youngest guy with no DQ. Like, that just to me screams, once I found out wrestling was real, I can't enjoy it anymore. Or fake, I can't enjoy it anymore. Once the internet and backstage and other stuff, I just can't enjoy it anymore. It's like, okay, like, this is the world we live in now, and there's plenty of great wrestling. And if AEW doesn't do it for you, if WWE doesn't do it for you, if AAA doesn't do it for you, there's New Japan Pro Wrestling, there's TNA, there's all these other promotions. There's friggin' Juggalo Championship Wrestling, Vince Russo. Go check that out if you enjoy that. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff to enjoy, and if something's not working for you, you don't have to watch it. But it's to say there's no good wrestling in 40 years, like, I'm not even 40 years old yet, so that lets me believe I need to go back and watch some of those classics. I have watched every WrestleMania match in history, but at the end of the day, like, sometimes as we grow up, the stuff that we remember from our childhood just feels like it's a lot better than the stuff nowadays. And nostalgia is a hell of a drug. So all those things come into it.
That's nostalgia goggles. Look, I'm the senior editor over at ProWrestlingStories.com. We have 1,000 articles. Many of them go back 100 years. Some of them go back to the 70s, some of the 80s, 90s, 2000s. There's always been great wrestling. It's not like a door shut, when Vince took over in 83 or whatnot. It's ridiculous.
Right. And I mean, in some of those matches, feel free to call me out, Dave, if I'm wrong, but some of those matches, like, don't even have like great wrestling. It's just, like, if you look at the Andre and Hogan, it's all about that one slam, which he had done a bunch before, but that was the first time on the big stage. And it's like, nobody remembers anything else about the match. Like, Hogan, one of the best wrestlers of all time, like, really wasn't that good in the ring. He knew how to work a crowd. He knew how to work a match. But was he a technical masterpiece? No. Would he have been coaching wrestlers nowadays on wrestling techniques? No, he might have been a great
Well,
producer, and things like that.
believe
Yes,
it or
Dave.
not, Gino, believe it or not, from what I've heard, and Evan may be able to back me up on this because I haven't seen any matches, but I saw stories when Hogan went to Japan,
More
he
wrestling.
wrestled.
Yeah, more
He
wrestling.
wrestled, and he
Mhm.
knew wrestling. But that's what Vince wanted with him. He wanted him to be the Hulk. He
Well,
And
wanted
it
him to
worked.
just beat up people.
Hiro Matsuda, who was a great, great technician, he trained Hogan. So Hogan could wrestle, but he chose to do the Hogan shtick for WWF. But yeah, if you
Mhm.
see some Japanese stuff with him in his prime, he could work. Yeah.
Yeah, and that used to be tape sharing and all that stuff back in the day. You couldn't just go on YouTube and see all these great stuff, or go to the WWE Network, rest in peace, or go to any of the streaming services that have the Vault and all this stuff now. Like, it was so hard to see all the other things that people were doing, and now you've got so many different things. Ufa makes a great point. The Japanese crowds are different from the American crowds, and Hogan knew how to change a set. Hogan is one of the best wrestlers of all time. Is he going to go down as a Mount Rushmore of wrestling technicians? No. You've got your Bret Harts, your Kurt Angles, your Shawn Michaels, your AJ Styles, things like that. But at the end of the day, like, you do what is asked of you. Say what you want about his backstage, politicking and not wanting to put people over and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you know, there's a lot of great wrestling that is to be had after the year 2000, after Vince took over in the 80s. So yes, Bret Hart. Sorry, Uthman. Uthman's gonna bite my freaking head off if I don't mention Bret Hart in a technician role, especially. I think obviously can't have this whole thing go without me mentioning John Cena because he's my dog, but even he has great matches. Look at him and Cody from last year. When he's tasked with putting on a great wrestling match, he can. You'll say what you want about the 5 Moves of Doom. When he didn't do that at WrestleMania, everybody poo-pooed on the match and all these types of things. Yes, Evan.
I saw Cena headline Madison Square Garden against Bray Wyatt. Tremendous match. I saw Cena headline Madison Square Garden against Roman Reigns, and it was a tremendous match. That guy could wrestle. He could, and I'm jaded. I'm saying it. Yeah.
And yet people still chanting at him, "You can't wrestle, bro." Like,
he can wrestle.
I hope people realize that the way they treated Cena during his Super Cena years and the way that they think about him, like, I know it's all subjective, but a lot of people should be ashamed of themselves. And they prevented us from getting a lot more of greatness from Cena because of all that. Say what you want about the heel turn and his heel run. That was done to shut up and poo-poo on the crybabies that are blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, whatever works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, change the channel, tune the dial into another channel, whatever you want to call it. But yeah. So yeah, go check out Evan on his stuff. Go check out Dave on his stuff. If you're watching me on Aaron Riff's channel, first of all, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. It means the world. And then come check out my channel, Papagino0017 on the YouTube. And we're going to continue to deliver you guys this content. Starting next Wednesday, I'll be back home. My internet will be better. My video quality will be better. I'm on vacation, guys, but that's not going to stop us from delivering amazing content for you guys and great topics with great gentlemen here. So thank you so much from Dave, from Evan, Uthman, Aaron, Noah, who's been on, Dwayne, who's been in the chat, all the guys in the chat, Vinny, Dylan, anybody who's been on the channel, Matthew, who we hope to have here, C-Rod, all these guys. Thank you guys so very much for watching. Again, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. You'd be surprised how many people will see this video that aren't subscribed because YouTube knows what you're watching, but you might not be subscribed to it. So thank you guys for joining me last minute because the power outage had prevented us from going live right at 7. But I appreciate you guys sticking with me. I appreciate everybody watching, whether live or on demand. Leave a comment. We will address everything. And as always, we'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.